Welcome to another edition of NNPA and Black Press USA's Fire program. And we have a hot one today. She is the phenomenal songstress, Melba Moore, legendary singer, joining us this evening. Good afternoon, good evening, Melba Moore. How are you?
Fantastic. Thanks for having me.
You have a glow. I love that white off of you. That is gorgeous.
Thank you.
So you are legendary. We could literally spend more than an hour talking to you, but of course tonight we only have an hour with you. So you're born and raised in the Bronx, 5 octaves, right? New York.
Manhattan.
New York. That's right. Manhattan, big city. New York. 5 octaves. That is incredible. You spanned a number of decades of singing. You pretty much did everything from R&B, jazz, soul, gospel, classical. Do you have a favorite?
Whatever anybody will listen to. No, my natural gift in the beginning was classical, but being, a Black person, I wanted to sing R&B. So all of the others I've learned how to do.
So starting out, can you tell us a little bit about your story? Did you always wanted to do this, or was it something that you kind of fell into as far as you had a talent and someone discovered you?
A combination of fell into it. I started out as a daughter of a single parent. My mother was a professional singer, so she was gone all the time. The family was broken. My grandmother had stroke, so she didn't speak. So I don't really know my family. So I was raised by what we call a governess or a nanny.
Okay.
So at that time, from the first 10 years of my life, there was no music in my life. So it's not like I thought, okay, I really want to do this. I've never heard. I didn't even see my mother sing until I was maybe 10.
Wow.
So I think that's important to know. Because if you don't say that, people will assume you had a normal life.
Wow. So at what point did you feel in your guts that you had what it took? I mean, you said 10 years old before you heard your mom sing.
I don't think I started because I thought I had what it took.
Oh, okay.
I think because my natural father was a very popular band leader by the name of Teddy Hill. But my mother married a piano player, and they worked together. And then I had a sister and a brother because he had a son and a daughter. And my stepfather made us all take piano lessons. So now music became the center of our lives. And I got deeply involved. I thought I was going to be a piano player.
Wow.
So then as we went on through school, junior high school and everything, we discovered I could sing, but we all were musical. But then I really fell in love with music. So by the time it was time to go to high school, I wanted to major in music. So I went to art and music high school. The others went to the public schools. I went to the music school.
Oh, wow.
So that's probably when it really kind of got a hold of me.
And when were you first picked up or first signed?
Signed?
Yes, to a label. As far as, I think I've made it, that kind of thing.
Okay, it didn't happen that way.
Oh, wait a minute. Well, tell us.
Well, the first thing I did was I taught vocal music in the public schools of Newark, New Jersey, because we moved to Newark.
Okay.
After doing that for a couple of years, I told my dad, I said, you know what, Daddy? This is your dream. It's not mine. I mean, I love it and I do it very well, but I don't really want to be a school teacher. Would you take me to some of your colleagues and get me into the industry? And he took me then back to New York City, and we started to make some rounds of people that he knew. And one of the first people I met was Valerie Simpson. She was trying to sell her songs. She was a jingle singer and a studio singer. And she was in somebody's music publishing office, and we exchanged numbers. And she got me involved with studio singing. And the way I got my first Broadway show, which was the Broadway musical Hair, was they were performing the music for the show. And the person who wrote the music, Galton Dermott, was the star of the session. And they were still casting. And they liked the way everybody sang. And they still needed some Black people. So they said, well, if you want to come down and sing with the producer and the director, we'll find a place to put you in the show. So it wasn't really an audition. But anyway, to make a long story a little bit shorter, I stayed in there long enough to wind up getting the female lead and becoming the first Black actress to replace a white actress by replacing Diane Keaton.
Wow.
When one of the my Black fellow artists in the place said, Mela, you don't even really know how to audition. You've been in the show a long time. you should start going, at least learn how to audition. And she told me about auditions for what turned out to be Purlie, which is what gave me the Tony Award. I was trying to learn how to audition, but I got the part.
Wow, it's
and,
meant to be.
And from there, I got to be not a backup singer in the studio, but then I became offered a leading singing artist with my first record company was Mercury Records. But that's how I got signed.
So let me ask you a question, because obviously when you started in the industry and now, there are some things obviously that never change, but there are things that obviously have changed. What do you see some of the differences are with signing with labels and working in today's industry with all the ways that people can get your music?
That's a big question, but I guess to make it simple, it's essentially it's the internet, and it's electronic, and it's global immediately. You don't start out with, way back in the day when we just started like with blues. It was in the South. You had a few AM stations, and then it grew to starting to have FM stations and city music, like in Detroit and Chicago and Atlanta, and labels picking up people, say, for instance, I mean, before her, but say Aretha Franklin. I like her as an icon because she was in my time and everything, but she was one of the like real obvious one who, she wasn't really no crossover. She was what she was. And, eventually everybody loved her and that kind of music, and R&B music began to grow, so that record companies began to take on Black artists, but there were no Black departments.
Wow. Wow.
And then, you remember people like Prince and Michael Jackson, who became huge crossovers, because as we built to the audiences, record companies saw the financial benefit in it and everything like that. But, maybe you want to speak about what you've come to from that. I don't. Yeah. Well, essentially, I don't pretend to be like an expert in that, but I think essentially what's happening, not just in the record industry or the entertainment industry, but in industry, it's independent, it's entrepreneurial. You have direct access to the audience. So if you can put together the team, the marketing team and the production team, you can be in charge of your own company or your own label or your own whatever it is you want to do.
Now, I know that you have a new project now, and it's entitled I'm Just Doing Me. What have you been doing since the last time we heard from you? Because your fans want to know, what has Melba Moore been doing?
I've been doing what everybody's doing, trying to stay safe.
Yes.
You can't just go any old where.
No. Has this really affected you a lot, the pandemic? And is there anything immediately that has affected you with
absolutely
outside of going out?
I was getting ready to do a whole tour of the city wineries.
Oh.
But they almost closed down. I understand they've survived. But
That's
when they come back up, you're gonna have to do what they call virtual tours. That never existed before.
Wow.
Everybody's affected by this. You can't just go out unless you want to follow Trump and die.
It's scary out there, and things aren't getting much better. So we're being prayerful. So in the midst of this pandemic, you have your song, I'm Just Doing Me. So how long did it take you to get this to the point? It's already out. So how long did it take you to work on that?
Well, fortunately, I've been putting, especially dance music out periodically, because my partner, Ron Richardson, is very, very, he's a great aficionado in the dance genre. And since the days back in the 70s when Van McCoy issued in the disco, the genre has diversified, is developed. People who used to be club DJs are now entrepreneurs. They are promoters. They have all kinds of podcasts and different ways of getting to their audiences. And they also have different genres of, like you have house music, you have disco, you have R&B, you have a variety of lanes that you can be in. So what happened was I kept being offered different songs. Like I've had several different hits. Like one song is called "My Heart Belongs to You." Another one's called "Anyway." There's been a bunch of them. Then they're done that, something like that. But this one I had done maybe a month ago, maybe a year ago. It could have been. And it was written especially for me by George Pettis. When you listen to the song, you got to listen to this incredible piano solo. But then he's also an arranger, so he put these horns on it, and it's incredible background. Well, she's not a background singer; she's a featured singer. She's in "You Better Do It," and "You Can Do It." I'm gonna do it. That's kind of a hook too, you know. But then what else happened is the DJs are stars now. And they have followers of like 1 million people.
Yes.
That's crazy. Well, you know what I'm saying? It's true,
yes.
right?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
So I speak about two people that have had a great influence on my having this success. One is D Nice. Do you know who he is?
Yes. Oh, really?
And he's been featuring me on his parties, and he's really got to be, or started really I don't know what you call them, but the pandemic parties.
Yes, yes. The virtual, yeah, that everyone's watching them in the battles, yes. Versus battles, yes, yes.
So he's been featuring some of my classic music on there. So that's been bringing that lane of attention back to me. But in the meantime, George Pettis and Terry Hunter remixed this song that they already had and put it out. And they take it through there's a certain channels that they take it through now, because there's all these DJs, you know, global, and they have different levels, you know, and they're all making mixes, so you can't just give it out to somebody.
Right.
Because then they're in competition with themselves. But what is formed is a whole new way and step of marketing. So the DJs put it out with just the DJs first, right? So then it was a hit with them like about 2 months ago. And then they released it to the next genre of people, the inner circle. So now it's finally like out into the general market. But what I love about this, it takes a little longer, but it's going to be a hit, bigger and longer. It's very, very different than the back of the old days.
Wow. But you're actually reaping the benefits when it's done this way. Am I correct?
Trying to say.
Well, that's important. I mean, I think it's really great because there seems to be a resurgence in a lot of things. They're bringing back TV shows and artists. I mean, we all are in our professions because we love what we do,
Right.
But we also want to be compensated. I mean, it's a part of life, you know, and the American dream, as they say, being able to have a talent and do honest work. And it's got to be great when you sing songs. I'm sure people stop you because you look exactly the same. I mean, it's just great. I know. So people stop you. There's no way of covering up and saying, no, I'm not Melba, but, stop you and say your song. I remember this song, and this song was when I was getting married. And that's got to make you feel great to still connect with your fans. Absolutely.
And then to have really, I guess what I was saying is I didn't have anything to do with it. I kept trying. So this whole new genre of people in the industry who connected me with a whole new base. I can only say thank you.
Oh, that's exciting. That's exciting. So I'm just doing me. What's the feeling of it?
Oh, nobody else can do me better than I said I was gonna sing right. Than I can. I'm still here and still doing me. What goes around will always come back again. So just take me as I am. I'm just doing me. And she says, you better do it. I'm just doing me. You can do it. I'm just doing me. You better do it. I'm just doing me. That's the spirit of it. And so what's happened is that everybody is taking it and they're just doing them.
This sounds like a woman's anthem. I'm just doing me. I like that.
But everybody's taking it. One of the most inspiring things, I want to cry, one of the first videos I saw of it was a young man in a wheelchair. He couldn't move. He couldn't move his legs. Wow. But he was waving. I saw, oh.
That is beautiful. When everyone connect. Oh, I mean, I can imagine creating something that makes people feel connected to you and feel connected to the world. Like that. That's great.
Well, you're very sweet. I think some of the first people that heard it, they didn't necessarily know who I was. They were really doing them.
Oh, wow. That's even better, right? And
Yeah.
expanding into a new market. So that's got to be exciting. So, what can we see from you now? I know we're still in the pandemic. You
Right.
talked about being safe.
Well, lots of interviews. Everybody's doing interviews because it's our way of connecting with. It doesn't matter what the field is. So definitely doing that first, and then some concerts that I've already taped.
Oh, okay.
The one that is airing on the 20th. When is the 26th? Saturday,
That's
Sunday?
Sunday? No,
Yeah.
Saturday. Yes, Saturday.
So,
Right?
Global Artists United, it's called, and it's going to be first airing in South Africa.
Wow.
On that, I'm also performing with the lead singer with a group called Crack of Dawn. It's a beautiful ballad called Solo Tiempo. And then I'm doing some of my classic things like You Step in My Life, Love's Coming at You, the one here. But then I'm going to do, I guess go in there. I said I wasn't going to sing, I know.
I love it. It's just who you are. I love it. Yeah, I love it. Listen, I told you, you are welcome at any point, at any time. We're doing an interview. If you feel like singing something, please, the floor is yours. We know you don't have the music, but your voice is still your voice. So we love it.
Well, the thing is, things have changed so much. I thought I wouldn't be singing, but I don't know.
So, are there any projects that you are working on or that you have in the back of your mind that you'd like to do? I know we've had a number of recording artists and legends like yourself joining us, and they're working on all sorts of things from, TV programs. I know a lot of things have been shut down, but there's some things that they're like lipstick line, hair line, hat line, anything fun like that you're thinking about or looking into?
Well, even just from the impetus of the song, a lot of ideas have been pitched to me. And so somebody's talking to me about possible memoirs.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And she pitched to me. I said, well, I'm not sure if I want to do this. Is well, there's a difference between an autobiography and memoirs. I said, well, I didn't know there was a difference, because the difference is in autobiography, you kind of tell like what happens. But she was saying, well, they can get that online. We want to know how you feel about things and what certain things may be important to you. We want it to be personal. I said, oh, well, one could do that. So that's in the works. I want to do some master classes. Everybody want to know how it is no.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
So you've been around for a number of years. Like I said, you're a legend. Is there anyone that you haven't worked with that you'd like to work with? And especially with this new era of artists from R&B and hip hop, is there anyone that you'd be interested in working with?
You know what? I've been so focused on trying to figure out the business aspect of my career, because you have to know that or you don't get to do the art. And I haven't really focused on a lot on everybody who's out there.
Sure.
But I have a daughter, and she lets me know who's out there. And so rather than me thinking about, well, who would I like to work to, I'm just saying I'm available. Okay.
And you just said something. Can we get a little bit, can we find out something about Melba Moore that we don't know? So your family, you have a daughter. So is she in the industry? What does she do?
Well, right now she's like my what do you call it? Associate director. She's my boss. So that, because I'm reorganizing everything and restructuring things, and I've really kind of done it as an artist.
Okay.
It needs a proper infrastructure. So she's worked in a lot of office situations, and I've worked in the classroom, but it needs to have a proper structure. So she's kind of really guiding me along with that. So everything that's coming along now, it's a perfect time. So I said, well, she said, well, Ma, you did this. I said, well, I don't know how to take notes. But I mean, there has to be order and structure, plus you have to have a knowledge of the industry. She does, between my ex-husband and her. And actually, he's working with her on things that he wants to do. I'm working with her on things. So in between, she's getting, I guess, really the structure for how she wants to continue her career in life. So I don't think she knows quite what she wants to do, because there's a few different things she could do. Yes. But we both want her to have a proper structure that any business or family will have.
Absolutely. So are you East Coast, West Coast?
I'm East Coast.
Okay, so you're back on this side of the town.
Can't you tell how I talk?
Well, I didn't know if you carry that, so I try not to assume it, right? I don't know if you carry that. So, what about your private life that we haven't heard of? So, after the hits, the songs, who is Melba Moore? What do we not know about you that hey, might be something interesting that your fans would like to know?
Mm. So I don't know what you would be interested in, so you have to ask me. Be honest with you, because I guess I'm still kind of focused in. I'm very multidimensional, but I'm not very multi-talented. I mean, I don't
I know what
multitask.
you mean. I know what you mean. So what's your day like now? Because you're getting back into the industry.
Okay.
Well, actually, you've never left. Let me clarify that. You've never left, but there are some changing things, as you said, the industry, and you're dealing and getting acclimated. So when you put your music out, which you have, that you get it to get and reach as many people as possible. What's your day like now?
Well, and it's always a process of reinventing and reassessing and reforming. But I guess what I really am is I'm a born again Christian. And so I don't mean that I believe in something and it influences me. I mean, that defines me and rules me. So the first thing I get up to do, I say, okay, boss. Now I say, am I here? Because I know you. Am I still on this side of the living? I ask those pertinent questions. And then I have a whole set of rituals that I do because that rules my life to tell me, okay, what is this day supposed to focus on?
Okay.
Everybody knows what Sunday's supposed to be, right?
Right.
But he has something for every day. So, like for instance, okay, I'm Catholic. So on Sunday, we focus on the resurrection and all that we can find out about that and how it affects us and how we can be led by that. So when I say I'm born again, I probably look this good because I live in here. Well, on Monday we celebrate the joyful mysteries,
Okay.
and that's when the angel told Mary that she was going to conceive. Do you know who Mary is? I know who her parents are, and that they were first barren before they conceived her. And it's important because she's the new Eve. We don't know who Mary is. First of all, if it was only for Mary, Jesus wouldn't be here. So beginnings. That's just an example. You don't have to go through.
So let me ask you, in knowing more about Melba Moore, the personal side outside of the entertainment side. So are you the cooker? Are you the cleaner? Are you a big reader? Do you kind of watch the reality shows?
No, I just told you.
No, you really disconnect. That's it.
I'm not disconnected. I'm connected to God.
What I mean,
that's really what
that's
I
the
do.
connection. That is the connection. Yes,
that's what I do.
That is the connection. No question about that.
I mean, I probably would have hobbies, and maybe I will.
Mm-hmm.
I probably would cook. I probably would, watch the reality shows. But this is what I do.
Okay.
Then I go out and I walk. I get plenty of exercise. And depending on what the scripture is saying, it'll be Mount Horeb or Mount Zion. This is what I do.
No, that's good to know. I mean, this is all about, the whole reason why we asked you to come on the show. It's been a while for many of your fans that have seen you and talking to you, and many people. I know that people are getting to work slowly, but a lot of people feel captive at home, and it's an opportunity not only for you to connect to your fans, but for the fans to be able to connect with you and just hear about things in your life that may be similar in their lives, right?
Everything is really the same, except I guess what we're traditionally used to hearing is someone who's committed and defined by God like that is usually in gospel.
Okay.
But I go wherever he sends me. So I'm just doing me as my ministry.
Well, that's what I wanted to know. I mean, I like the words that I've heard there, and I've actually got a chance to hear the song, obviously, before we did the interview. Are there any talks in the work of you doing some acting projects in the future?
Oh, absolutely. They're in the pipelines, yes. I'm definitely going to be doing some work. Well, I already have a project being worked on for one woman play with music, autobiographical. Okay. Well, that's the primary thing. And then what I want to do is to develop that. I've already written it, but I'm not a playwright, so I want to get a team together so that I get proper playwright directors and skilled staff to actually develop it.
So you put something together, a one-woman play yourself.
Yes.
And what does it deal with? Is it you, or is it's just you speak it? Because sometimes people do it as a third person, or they do it as somebody else. This is about you.
It's me.
Okay, it is you.
I mean, it is me doing me.
Okay, all right, great.
Oh, that's my record, ain't it?
Yes, it is. We circle back around. We circle back around. That is interesting. So you're kind of shopping that now and see who can tweak it the way that you want to have it tweaked.
Yes.
I would think that Broadway, which you have done, and maybe singing on the stage are two different things altogether, the prepping for it. Yes, no?
I think so, because theater or Broadway, as we is your character. It's usually an ensemble. There's a subject that generally someone chooses, and you tell that story. That's what the best of Broadway is, storytelling. Some skilled storyteller. Not me just telling my story. Or is that what you meant? I'm sorry.
No, you answered the question. So did someone teach you or train you? I would just think that would be to remember lines that you're not actually saying, but you're playing a character. To me, seems very difficult, but obviously it's not. You've done it.
Not wrong. It's very difficult.
Okay.
I didn't know that's what I was going to be doing. But when someone said, "We'll hire you," I said, "Okay, fine. I'll learn on the job."
I like it. You're adaptable. You make it happen.
Well, it was there, so I said, "Oh, let me at least try."
So did you have any failures that you can tell us about? Like, oh my goodness, I did this one Broadway or this one play, and I didn't feel good. They liked it. I didn't. I mean, anything like that,
I've had real failures, personal ones, but I've never had any failure in theater, probably because I wasn't writing it or directing it.
Wow.
I was doing what somebody told me to do, and apparently I should be doing that.
So when you were in the height of your career and being and traveling and doing concerts, because we can't really do it now, did you find out? So you mentioned you have a daughter. I don't know if you have more than one child. So that keeps you on the road. So that's, tutor and someone else taking care. Do you feel like there was more that could have been done with that? Because you're working. That's what you do. People want you all over the world, and there's only one you, and there's more places that you can go to than you can do in a year.
Our daughter missed a lot because I was on the road, and I'm trying to make it up now. I can.
Any advice to parents and or parents that are in the industry or have children that are in the industry to kind of understand that scope and kind of prepare and do what you can, because everyone has hindsight, and I'm sure there's some great advice that you would have for people going through that or even thinking of hitting the road.
Well,
following the dreams.
Try to develop a good family team and support. You're going to need it. You need it for yourself. You're on the road and you're trying to do your work, but you also need it for your family. And you don't. And I guess what I want to warn is that the arts and being an artist is so charismatic, and it can just take up all of your mind, thoughts and feelings, your sight. You don't mean to forget everything else, but you can. You don't want to shortchange the members of your family, your loved ones.
Do you have a studio at your home?
Our computer, this is it.
So
I'm learning how to work it.
Wow. Well, listen, we have some comments from your fan, Celeste Hart. I wrote the article for a Cleveland Black newspaper about Melba when her I'm Still Here CD came out in 2001. We had a great conversation. So she's giving you some love. Thanks, Celeste.
Thank you.
James said, awesome. We agree, James. We agree. Demetrius, hey, big sis, big Meech. He's in the building. So I guess he may know you or he's just a fan. Demetrius Dennis Taylor.
Hey.
What would you like to say to your fans?
Don't change. You've been so supportive, whether I've been in the forefront or the back front. If I've been on the back street or on a bus or in a jet plane, you've been there hugging me. You've been there supporting me. I remember going through the Port Authority channel, one of the main terminals, and people know that I had. I mean, I was embarrassed and I was ashamed, but they gave me money.
No, tell me about that.
Well, they want you to know that they love you.
Wow.
And you know, sometimes your little ego, well, I don't want to be it because it's embarrassing. You know, I mean, I'm not stupid. I have an education. I don't want people giving me money, but I needed it.
Wow.
But people, yeah, when I say my fans, I don't mean it like, oh my, I mean, you're out in the world, you're in different areas, and they come and they show you this love. They show you that they care about you, and they're always there, and all different ones of them. Maybe some of their lifestyles, maybe I don't approve of whatever, but I realize that in this position I'm in, I'm not in a position to judge. I can make my decisions about what's good, what's wrong, what's healthy, what's not. But the first thing I think of is, or I guess God is telling me what I did wrong. And if the subject comes up that I speak with them about it, I say what I did and what I believe. And so if I mean, because as someone who's really defined by what God says is good or bad, everything is like so strong. It's either good or it's bad, or it's right. But that doesn't mean you have a right to tell somebody else what they should be doing.
Okay.
See, I think you have to be um, very, very, very thoughtful about it because you have the microphone, and it's your privilege. Be loving.
Melba Moore, if you had to do anything over, do it differently, what would it be?
I would know the business, so I
Well,
wouldn't
it's
keep.
ever changing.
No, but I mean, there's certain basic things that if you knew them, you wouldn't keep losing it. You wouldn't keep going the wrong way. You wouldn't keep letting people waste your time and your energy because you know that's not going to work. I would know that. I think I would have spent my time in a lot of different ways. There's some things that I hope I'll get the chance to do. I should have done them, but I didn't know.
And so now there's a resurgence and it gives you an opportunity to, as you said before, do the things that you'd like to do. And with your daughter at your side, which has got to be fun. It's always great to be able to work with your babies, you know, your daughter. So that's got to be great. We look forward to seeing what she's going to be doing. So what can we have that I'm just doing me. And I think there's a video that's with that as well. Am I correct?
Yes.
So what was that like doing that?
Well, I had to hurry up and come up with a concept because everybody was putting their own video out. I said, this ain't like the old days. It used to be, you know, we go and we do a video and everybody watch your video. Now everybody got their own video, so I had to hurry up and put one out. That was the main issue. I said, well, what's the subject going to be? But I had a dear friend, Dominic McFadden, who created concept and shot it and everything. And he's a friend of the family. He's the son of Gene McFadden, McFadden Whitehead. So I said, I don't know what to do. So I'll do it. You know, then you just have me performing a little bit, and then you have everybody doing it. So we have that, but they're also coming out with another single. When I say they, I mean George Pettis and his wife wrote the lyrics, Angela Pettis and Terry Hunter, called You Can't Deny It.
Okay.
So you can look for that. So that's kind of once this one kind of goes cool.
So how do people, Melba Moore, follow you and stay connected with you?
MELBAMOORE.com is my website. From there you can get everything else, but you can always find me on YouTube. It's just easy.
They can connect to you that way. So can you tell us what maybe one or two of your favorite projects that you've worked on?
Oh, definitely Purlie.
Oh, okay. Yes.
I found out what a Tony Award is.
Oh, yes.
I worked with Sherman Hemsley.
Oh, okay.
Well, he was just hilarious and so sweet. I mean, everybody knows he's funny. But that was maybe one of my favorite projects. And of course, I really enjoyed doing Les Misérables.
Wow. Now that's gotta be fun.
Well, I can't say it was fun.
After it, looking back,
Because it's so sad.
the play itself, yes.
But what's so great is it's so good.
It's a very, very popular play.
Yeah,
It really, really is.
and it came kind of out of nowhere for me, and that's like closer to my natural voice
Oh, okay.
because it's more like semi-classical.
Yeah. And you were just talking about that. So, you know what? I think, I started off the interview with you and I was saying, I don't know where the Bronx came from. I don't know where that came from, but coming from Manhattan, that's a very different experience.
Right.
From any, no, right? It's a very different experience. What was your childhood like, Manhattan? I mean,
Right.
that's the place to be now.
Well, that's why I pointed it out, because for most of us that had the privilege of being on the Rock, Manhattan, if we were Black, we probably came from Harlem, which is a totally different experience. Because the population is different, the culture is different. Where I was mainly Latino and other races, but not so much Black.
Okay.
For one thing, and but it's definitely New York, playing the streets. We had the PAL across the street, so I went over there and played with kids, learn how to do gymnastics and all kind of stuff. And my playground was Central Park.
That's amazing. That is,
I think so.
I mean, that's amazing.
I learned to ride a bike there.
What?
And the important thing is, my natural father, the big band leader.
Yes.
That's the first time I saw him. He came and brought me a bike when I was 5 years old. I'll never forget that. That's New York to me.
What a story to tell. People write movies around Central Park, and that was your playground.
Yeah.
Wow.
And of course, I moved to Newark, New Jersey, and that was like moving to another planet. Oh, you want to hear about that too?
Yes, I do. What is that? Was it that? I mean, I don't know about New York, New Jersey. I know, the state itself, but that's it.
Sure. Well, where I lived, first of all, a little bit what New York looks like, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But this was a little street that had cobblestone. Yeah. It was really culture shock.
Really?
And there was only houses on one side, and there were houses. There were not apartment buildings. On the other side, I guess what my playground would have been if I could have got in there. It was a cemetery.
What? Okay.
I never got over that.
Wow.
You know what? Your mouth is hanging open.
That's so. Did you come across racism?
Oh, I don't care where you are. Even in the cemetery, you're gonna come across racism.
I mean, in Manhattan, New Jersey.
I don't
know.
I don't remember it in Manhattan.
Okay, that's
I don't
good.
Remember. I don't remember incidents.
That's great.
I do remember in Newark there were like Italian groups and people, and where we lived. The other thing important too is that my parents were not typical Black musicians. They were not blues singers.
Okay.
They were urban, so they sang the popular songs. And most of the places that they worked were what they call piano bars.
Okay.
Or they will have combos with small groups. But they were white clubs. So like a lot of the people they worked for were Italians. Oh, I thought it was very, 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 very dark skin. He died at 101 years old 2 years ago. But he spoke his family. He spoke Italian.
Wow. 101. That is a blessing. That really is a blessing.
So many really, really, really wonderful, unusual things because we were children of entertainers, first of all. And I think that would have broken many cultural lines anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But because essentially the people that they worked for, we went to Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. No Black people even ever heard of that. And there was like only dirty people there.
Wow.
So our world was really
I think that's interesting. I like hearing that background and finding out today that you're actually Catholic. So that's always an interesting thing to hear. Behind the scenes and things outside of the camera, so to speak. I am just getting a question from one of your fans, and they want to know, how was it filming Fighting the Temptations?
It was so wonderful. Matter of fact, I spoke to one of the artists today because he's a big, big, big star, and he now has a radio show. That's Eddie Bird from the OJs.
Okay.
But I'm really laughing because he's hilarious. And of course, Fighting Temptations was a comedy. We're supposed to laugh. But I had so much fun. I really did. And because it was gospel, it was clean. It was respectful to church. And I mean, you got to hear, I mean, to me, gospel singers sometimes do things with their voices. I don't even know how I can manage to hear it. They're so unusual and so extraordinary. And one of the things I remember about it was the opening scene with Shirley Caesar and I can't remember the lady's name that she did the duet with. Oh, it's gonna kill me. But it was a duet, and it was just typical of just how extraordinary the music and the talent is. And they had some young people rapping and doing all kinds of, contemporary, all kinds of music. And one of the stars was Steve Harvey. So you know, crazy, right?
Yes, he is crazy. I've had the honor of working with him for about 15 years. So yes,
Really?
Yes.
And I like to say that Beyonce makes everybody look short and ugly. And I'm kind of preoccupied with what does God want me to do. So I don't go to the movies very much. So of course I knew Cuba Gooding Sr.
Okay.
I didn't know Cuba Gooding Jr.
That's the one I know. Yeah.
You know him?
Yeah. Well, obviously from a viewer, excuse me. Let me clarify that. As a viewer. Yeah. So yeah.
Well, anyway, he played the choir director.
Yes.
Okay. So when he started directing the choir and everything, he stood flat-footed and did a back over flip. I almost gagged.
He's actually pretty funny too.
He's hilarious.
Yeah, he's pretty funny.
So that's a little bit of my take on Fighting Temptation. And of course, I love my character, Bessie Cooley.
Do you get people that walk up to you and ask you or say something about that?
Yeah. They want to know, did I get my Mercedes yet?
I love it. So, okay, so we talked about Broadway. Now you talk about film, and I know that is a whole different animal. How was that preparing and doing the lines? And I know that they don't necessarily record things in order as you see it on the screen.
Very, 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 very different. It's like, once again, being another planet. If you're somebody like me and I haven't studied film, I haven't studied theater, and you get used to one, first of all, I learned to project and be big, and then I see that, calm, we got a camera. They make things big. You come back down. So you have to readjust and remember, don't do it something. But as far as remembering the lines and everything, I think that part is easier. You do it in sections.
Okay.
You're always given at least a day's warning beforehand. So you can take portions like with a play. You have to learn the whole thing.
Okay. Oh yeah.
And you have to do the whole thing from beginning to end eventually. But with filming, I think it's kind of like take small portions.
So did you have someone on set that would help you or feed you your lines, or like how much of a chunk of that would you do at one time?
It all depended on what the director was telling you. Okay. But no, nobody feeds you your line. You're supposed to be grown.
And know it. And just have it down pat.
Oh yeah. But that's to me be a problem. What you're gonna look like, and can you feel who the character is, and what can you do that in your mind? You have to kind of know. I mean, I'm not Bessie Cooley, so I have to try to know in my mind that I'm being her on the camera to learn to do that with your mind. I mean, I love doing it.
So hopefully we'll see you in some type of production like that again. I know once these production houses open back up. I mean, I know that there's artists like yourself. You have a song that's out, I'm Just Doing Me, which I'm excited to hear about that. And I love when you talk about it, because there's a smile that comes on your face, and I can just hear this as being an anthem for all people. Now that you've shared with me, even men have sent you, videos of themselves listening to it and really loving it. So it's really exciting. What can we expect from you in the next few months? Outside of this song, anything exciting that we can do?
I think much more just performance.
Okay.
Because that's what's naturally going to come out of the new song.
Yes.
And I'm hoping, I'm sure I will get more invitations to perform it in a variety of different settings. I think that's the first thing. And along with it, to continue to perform the classic songs that I've always performed that people keep requesting. They just have to figure out a way to do it.
Melba, because you have so many great classic songs, are there one or two that are really kind of special to you that stand out? All of them are special, obviously.
Yeah. There's one in particular, and that's Van McCoy's Lean on Me. I know there's a Bill Withers Lean on Me, but I got that one from Aretha, and it helped me to try to develop my styles. And I've been doing it since like 1978. That's a long time.
Wow.
And I mean, part of it was that I'm singing her song, and I can't sing like her, and I don't really know what my style is. I mean, then.
Right.
So to see it develop before people, and now it's one of my favorite songs that I do. So I adore it. That's one of my favorites. Some of the dance songs are, I love Love's Coming At You.
Oh my goodness, I'm sorry, I do too. I am so sorry, I do. Like, I literally can hear that right now in my head.
I don't know, it's the way it starts. It just sounds so happy.
Yes, 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 yes.
But actually, the songs that, Paul Lawrence wrote that song. He used to be in the camp of Kashif, who had Freddie Jackson, Lilo, a bunch of really great singers, songwriter, producers. You Stepped Into My Life was written by the Bee Gees, but McFadden and Whitehead gave it the vibe and the feel. And they were also still trying to help me find my voice. And I can hear when I'm singing the record, You Stepped Into My Life, and I can hear how much my voice has changed and how small it was and how they really beefed up the arrangement and everything. And I enjoy that now because I can sing it like a woman.
I have to ask you this too. How do you feel about your version of Lift Every Voice and Sing, which is being recognized by the Library of Congress? What an honor.
I'm really, really pleased about that. And I think the reason that that's happening, because that's another whole arena of public. It's not the record industry. It's community service. It's not-for-profit. It's organizations. It's the Library of Congress. It's politicians. And that's been made available to me because of people like Dr. Dorothy Height, who was the chairman of the National Council of Negro Women, and C. Dolores Tucker, and my dear friend Dionne Warwick. We're kind of like fellow community servants. And so we travel in those arenas. And I took the song to my record company because as a New Yorker, I didn't have Black history. And I didn't know that we had a song that identified African Americans as a nation. Every nation has a song that's their what do you call it? Your
anthem, so to speak.
Yes, their national anthem. And I thought ours was, "Oh, say, can you see?" I didn't know we had our own. And I was traveling around the country with Dr. Height because I saw her on the NAACP Awards, and she was awarded something. So I called her and I said, "Could I go on the road with you?" And so she could mentor me. And so she let me come to all the meetings and the breakfast and stuff. She said, "Well, no, why don't you sing something?" Well, what? why don't you sing the Negro national hymn? I said, well, what is that?
Wow.
So then I found out what it was and how important it was. And I tried to give it to, I gave it to my record company, which was Capitol Records at the time. And Scott Folks was the head of A&R. He's a black person. So he understood my sensitivity and decided to try to do something with it. And so he said he would. But I said, but you know what? If it becomes a hit record, I bet you there's a lot of people like me that's going to think it's my hit record. They're not going to know it's our national anthem. So it was my idea to ask Scott to please see if he could get a lot of black icons to share it with me so that we would uplift the fact that it was our national anthem. And that's the history.
Wow. Just really, being conscious about your commitment to giving back and being connected, again, with your childhood, growing up in Manhattan and just the world around you. Because again, New York and DC, which is where I am, the lifestyle for Blacks there it's very, very different from anywhere in the country. Even, from one place, even New Jersey, you even said New York and New Jersey, Manhattan to be exact, and New Jersey and DC is very, very different. So I just am enthralled with all that you've shared with us. I'm excited. I want to give you another opportunity before we wrap up. We've got a few more minutes to speak to your fans and also let them know how they can support you.
Well, dear fans, I love you so much. I would just ask you, you've always been there for me. I hope I have many more years in the industry. And if I do or don't, wherever I am, I'm going to be somewhere in public to say that I love you. I support you as well as you supporting me. You'll have community service projects. If you will call my office or if you will get in touch with us, let me know how I can participate in what you're doing. I do good at giving back. I want to participate in supporting you, not just you being my fans. I want to be family member to you. I just thank you so much because you've given me an incredible life.
Now, I can't get off of this interview with you without asking you about your feelings about this upcoming November election.
Please vote. I won't tell you who to vote for. I will tell you who not to vote for. It's not a joke. It is very, very important that everybody vote, please. Please vote. It means our very lives. I don't believe that if we'd had sensibility in the White House, I don't believe that this pandemic would have gone like it has. And that we've got 200,000 people dead.
We do. We do.
And we need to please, 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 please vote.
Melba, what do you see? And this is personal. What do you see as some of the biggest issues for this election? And I'm not talking party. I'm just talking personally. Right. What are issues important to you this election?
I see two huge issues. As a Christian, we cannot keep killing our children and calling it women's health. We must really heal the woman. If she gets pregnant, we must take care of the baby. That's my personal opinion. And we must take care of the other areas of health. I know there's been lots of good things that have come out of that, but killing a child is not the solution. I think on the other side, what primarily the Republicans have done is stop any kind of legislation. They've dismantled the government. If you're Republican or Democrat or independent, you've got to put responsible people in these positions now. I'm not telling you to vote Democratic or Republican, but in your local elections, find out who will really be responsible, because Mr. Trump lies to everybody. He's surrounded himself by criminals and liars. He's not really meant to be a politician. Politics is not bad. We can get people who will respect the position if we try.
So I suspect that you are watching this closely and you will be heading to the polls like everyone else or doing early voting. So I think that one, hello, Mabel Whitaker, thank you so very much. Yes, we do encourage people to register to vote. Make sure that you are, if you think you're registered to vote, make sure that you are. There's easy ways within any state that you're in to check that. And again, the phenomenal, legendary Melba Moore. I just cannot thank you for this insight. There's so much about you that I've learned today outside of the research that I did. So it's really great to know the personal side of you.
You did good research. Thank you.
Well, thank you. It's so fun talking to you. You have so much energy. And I just can imagine you once the country opens back up and we can get through this pandemic. I can just see you being all over the place and people embracing you as it seems that you're embracing them as well.
Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Oh, well, we appreciate that. We also want to thank Concert Connects for making this happen. And then next week, on Thursday, a wonderful young author named Natasha Brown will be joining us for Black Press USA and NNPA's FIRE. Again, Miss Melba Moore, thank you so very much. And we thank you for joining us tonight. All right, be safe. Until next week, we'll see you then.